What's up, guys? Today we're going to be personalizing emails at scale using make.com. This is a process that I'm going to put together without Clay. Clay is a tool that makes it a little bit easier to personalize emails at scale with AI, but it is an expensive platform, so instead we're going to use make.com. It requires a little bit more time, more technical skills in order to get it done. So let's jump right into it. We're going to start by making the scenario. We're going to be using Google Sheets, ChatGPT, Apify, and make.com to get this done. I already have my list of contacts that I'm going to be targeting. These are all individuals that work for industrial real estate companies. I am selling waste consulting services to these people. And what we are going to do is we are going to scrape each LinkedIn URL one by one and have ChatGPT come up with two personalized strings that we're then going to use as dynamic inputs when we go and create Smartlead campaign. So I have 37 people I'm targeting. This is a very niched list, and we are going to start by searching each row one by one in our make.com scenario. So let's go to Google Sheets. We are going to search a row. We gotta select the correct account here, the spreadsheet ID. This is email personalization. So I use this Google Sheet whenever I'm doing any any sort of email personalization with make.com. I have another sheet here for when I want to find information about the company. Um, I'll use that sheet there, but because we're going to be searching within the contacts, I'm going to be searching every single contact. So I'm going to do it within this list right here. And the way that we know which row to search is whether or not this sent is empty or not. Every time that each row is sent, we're going to update the row and add sent here so that the next time it's going to search for the next available row with an empty cell in this column here. So we are going to use contacts. We're going to limit to one search, and we're going to look for rows where sent is empty, does not exist. Okay, so let's run this once just to make sure. Not sure what's going on here. Save. All right, run once. Andrew Tig. That should be the first row, and it is. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do, you can either add this at the beginning or the end. I'm going to add it at the beginning. I'm going to then, once the row is searched, I'm going to update that cell from that row to say that this row has already been searched and we don't need to search it again. We are going to enter manually since we've already used it. Spreadsheet ID is going to be found right here. The sheet name, sheet, row number, column range, A to BZ, and we want to fill in AC. You can put it in as whatever you want here. As long as it's something, then it's good. But I always do cents, just what I do. Okay, let's go ahead and save. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to run an Apify actor. The one that I'm using is the Mass LinkedIn Profile Scraper with email. So you can find this by just going to the Apify store within apify.com. You get $5 of free credits when you sign up. I've only used 1 cent so far, so I'm doing pretty good. This costs $10 per 1,000 results. So that is 1 cent per LinkedIn that is scraped, if my math is correct. And And basically, I'll show you how it works. You can run it on the interface right here, where you basically just put in the LinkedIn profile. You get your output. I've already run this once. Where it runs here, so I put in this guy's LinkedIn. It was Pete Labry. My output was all this information which was found in his LinkedIn profile, his address, about him, the company he works for, more information about the company. And what we are going to be using to personalize the emails are two things. It's his job title, which is found in his LinkedIn. I'm going to use the job title that was found when I retrieved all these contacts right here. So I'll be using this to have ChatGPT go in and personalize some information about their job title. And I'm also going to be using their LinkedIn to personalize information about how long they've been with the company. So current job duration in years, 1.5. I'll use one of these. Um, there should be a string in here about their different job titles. Experiences here. Okay. So here you can find a little bit more information. You have this existing job, and it is 1.5 years, which is equivalent to right here. So I guess we can use either one. So we're actually going to pull this scraper into make.com. We're going to add the Apify actor. We're going to run an actor. I got to make sure I select the right account here. Yep, it's my personal account. Recently used actor. So if you run this, which I already have, you will be able to find the actor in here. It is the Mass LinkedIn Profile Scraper. There it is. You need to make sure to turn this on. Run synchronously. If not, then it's not gonna, the scenario won't wait for Apify to scrape. It'll just go ahead and skip right over the step, but we need to wait until it's scraped. It takes 5 to 10 seconds. And then automatically we're going to have the input JSON right here, which is how we actually pass information on from Google Sheets to the Apify actor. So the LinkedIn profile is right here. So whatever row is searched, that LinkedIn account is automatically going to be put here. This is called a dynamic insertion. And we should be good there. We click save. Another thing I want to mention is that all these contacts have LinkedIn profiles, if I haven't already mentioned that. And then what you want to do after you run the actor is you want to grab another Apify module and you want to get dataset items. And all you need to do is get the dataset ID from the previous Apify actor. It is right here, default dataset ID. Okay, save. Let's go ahead and run this first row. See how it looks. Sorry, those are my cats meowing if you can hear them in the background. They're at the door. Okay, so as you can see, we scraped Andrew T. Tighe's profile. We have all this information we can work with. We can personalize all this however we need to. I'm going to just use his experience. Current job duration, it's 1 year, 1 month. I want to make sure that it's the length of time he's been with the company, not necessarily his job title, because if you look at LinkedIn profiles, you'll see that their job titles or their current job title is 1.6 years, but they've actually been with the company for 5 years, and they've just changed titles. So yeah, this is the exact situation with this guy. He's been with the company for 10 years, but he's been in his current job for 1 year, 1 month. We want to make sure that we're referencing the whole 10 years, 7 months. So let's see if we can find any information about that. If not, we're going to have to change our strategy here. So let's look at his experiences. Okay, here we go. That's what we're gonna use. We're gonna use experiences and then the most recent collection, and we're gonna look at the subtitle right here. Okay. The next thing we want to do is we want to actually create the personalized segments of text that we're going to then insert into our emails in Smartlead later down the road. So we're going to create a completion. You can use whatever AI you want. ChatGPT is my go-to. So that's what I'm going to do. We are going to choose, I like 4.0 latest. So the way that I like to craft my ChatGPT modules is I like to start with a developer, then user, then assistant, user, assistant, system, user, assistant, user, assistant again, and then you always got to end with a user. That's the actual communication, and you're asking for an output. The assistant is a fake output that you give the AI to basically give them an example of what a good output is. So I have the system that kind of just gives them a little bit of information about what their job is as the AI. You have an input, the user, and based on this first input of the user, you create a good example of an output in the assistant. And then we do that another time to make sure that AI knows what a good output is. And then we finally have our actual user communication with the AI where we're expecting the output from AI, and that's what we're going to use. So I've actually gone ahead and had AI craft these already, so you don't have to sit around. All right, we're back. So I just took all those pieces of information from their tenure, their length of time at the company, and I just gave it all to ChatGPT to handle. So let's go ahead and run this. I'm going to unlink this right here just so that I can finish. I don't have to keep removing the scent from here. So let's go ahead and run it. Run once. The Apify actor, 5 to 10 seconds typically. ChatGPT is quick with it. Let's see what we got. Your time with Patani development reflects over a year of meaningful contributions and growing leadership in the region. Let's see if that is actually correct. Who did we go with? Uh-oh. Pantani, this guy's been there for 10 years. So this is not correct. Let's see where we went wrong. We clearly gave him not the input that we wanted to. Messages going down to the last one, present. So it only gave it that 1 year, 1 month. We wanted the 10 years. I don't know why it didn't add in experience 1. Okay. Let's try that one again. So we have the caption. Hmm. All right, guys, so I switched up what we are personalizing for. Before we were doing the full tenure of the person at their company. Now we're just going to do the length of time they've been in their specific job title at that company. I played around with the prompts. I made some changes. Originally, I had this AI create one sentence. Now we're creating two sentences. I can show you what this output looks like. I just did a test run, and this is what the result was for a fake person. I saw you've been with the I saw you've been the COO at ABC for over 3 years. That steady leadership likely plays a key role in driving operational success across the organization. So I'm happy with that output. It's a little bit easier to pull the actual length of time they've been in that job title versus the length of time they've been at the company. There's definitely a way to pull that information out. It's just a little bit harder to do because it doesn't always exist. And if it does, it can be buried depending on how many different jobs they've had on LinkedIn. So now we're going to actually create another customization of email text using ChatGPT once again. I already have this created, all the different prompts I want. So let's go ahead and configure this. We have system, user, assistant, user, assistant, and user. My go-to prompting here. We are going here. Okay. Let's go ahead and copy and paste these over. For the developer, you are a module that generates two short professional sentences for an outreach email. The first two sentences reference the individual's job title. The first two sentences, because I made it into two, not one. First two sentences reference the individual's job title. The second sentence briefly introduces how ICS helps with reducing medical waste costs. We're actually going for solid waste because we're dealing with industrial real estate. This company also does medical, but for this use case, we are doing solid waste. We have to make sure that that is consistent in this prompt. I believe it is. So write two sentences for an outreach email. Rules: plain text only, no emojis. Sentence one, reference job title. Introduce ICS service simply. We help reduce waste costs by renegotiating hauler terms and auditing invoices monthly. Combined length 30 to 45 words. Let's bring it down. If AI can make it more efficient, we want it to be more efficient. The shorter emails are better. Do not include a CTA, company name, or tenure here. Example one, we have to include sentence one. So we are referencing the same example that we used in the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then I'm going to copy and paste the first sentence, the first output over, because we need that for the AI to basically understand what a good transition would be between these two segments of text. So let's go ahead and paste this in. First two sentences. First two sentences, paste that in. So the next two sentences are here from that example. That's an assistant prompt. So I see you've been the CFO at Magnolia Regional Health Center for over 7 years. That kind of tenure speaks to the trust and stability you've brought to the organization. As the CFO, you know how vital it is to direct every dollar strategically. We help reduce waste removal costs by renegotiating hauler terms and auditing invoices monthly. So these will be the first 4 sentences that I'll use in my first email, and then I will include a CTA after these 2 little segments, and the CTA will be something like, if we can reduce your waste costs with no risk up front while keeping everything the same, is that something you would be interested in? So that's what the Smartlead email 1 is going to look like. Okay, let's bring in user 2. We will provide the first 2 sentences. We have VP of operations, I believe, for this example. Save it and then take the example over from example 2 in this one. VP of operations. Good. Copy. And paste that in. So this one, this is actually going here. And then the output, aka the assistant prompt, is going here. So I notice you've just become the VP of Ops at Regional Cardiac and Oncology. Being selected for such a key role speaks volumes about the confidence others have in your leadership. As the Director of Operations, you oversee many areas where efficiency directly impacts performance. We help reduce waste removal costs by renegotiating hauler terms and auditing invoices monthly. Beautiful. Now we'll go ahead and actually put in a real dynamic input here. Okay, get rid of that. The job title is found in the Google Sheets. We have that right here. All right, I think we're good here. Let's give this a practice run. Oh, actually, gotta put these inputs in. So we're using the AI's output here. Job title, first 2 sentences. Good. Okay. Save that. Let's give this a run here. We'll do COO. Saw you have been the COO at ABC for 5 years now. That tenure speaks volumes of your leadership and abilities. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So output. Saw you've been the C. We help reduce waste costs. Huh. So that's not the output that we want there. Where did we go wrong? Reference responsibilities. We're going to say reference responsibilities within their job title in a natural, respectful way in order to transition to ICS's consulting service. Introduce ICS service simply. Combine length. Do not include CTA. Example 1 input. I see you've been. Okay. I'm going to take away example here. Input 2. Input 3. Job title. First 2 sentences. First 2 sentences. Okay, so I think this is where it's getting a little bit confused. The first sentence you will reference the individual's job title. The second sentence you will generate briefly introduces. You will be provided the first 2 sentences of the email, and you will create the next 2 sentences. 2 short professional sentences for an outreach email using the previous 2 sentences and their job title. Okay. Let's see how this goes. I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste the input in here so I don't have to rewrite that up. As COO, your role in optimizing operations and controlling costs is critical to long-term success. We help reduce waste costs by renegotiating hauler terms and auditing invoices monthly. Okay, that's good. Let's run it again to make sure that this is what we want. We'll go. Let's go VP of Finance.
I see you've been the VP of Finance at ABC Company for, let's just go 3 years. Okay. As VP of Finance, your oversight of cost management and financial planning is essential to long-term success. We help produce. All right, this is what we're looking for. We're happy with this. Let's go ahead and save it. I'm going to go ahead and add update a row. So this is the original updated row that we implemented right in here. This is adding the sent cell, updating the sent cell in this row here to make sure that that row doesn't get sent again. So let's go ahead and actually add in the outputs that will land the first string and the second string. This is our first ChatGPT module. It will land in this cell. And then the second ChatGPT module will land in this cell. And we're going to have this run every single minute until all the rows have been searched. It's 37 rows, so less than an hour it will take for this to process every single row. So we have Z and AA as the columns that we need to input those ChatGPTs into. Z and AA. So Z is the first, and AA is the second, and the sent is AC. Yep. So you can ignore this one and this one. Those are for other use cases. I'm not going to be using those now. As I said before, I use this spreadsheet and make.com for all my personalization. My personalization is always changing. Okay, so let's save this. We'll give it a run here. Let's see what it comes up with. The Apify actor is running. And let's see what we got here. First string. I saw you've been Senior Director of Finance and Operations. I don't know if I necessarily like this long length job title included. I think if it could dumb it down a little bit, like if it could say like SR, Director of Finance and Ops at the company for over a year. That's a strong start and reflects well on the impact you're making in the role. That's a strong start. I don't like that at all. Let's see how the second one looks. In your role overseeing both finance and operations, you're in a key position to identify cost-saving opportunities across the company. We help reduce waste costs by renegotiating hauler terms and auditing invoices monthly. So I think that's great. But this one needs some work. Let's go and configure this, make some edits. Okay. Reflect on that length of time by turning it into a positive compliment. So what went wrong here? We need to first make sure that it reduces the title to look like this. So I'm actually going to provide this example inside the module rules. Make job title smaller if it's a long job title. I'm sure there's a better way to say this. E.g., Senior Director of Finance and Operations 2. Let's add some parentheses in here, or quotations. To Senior Director of Finance and Ops. Make job title smaller if it's a long title. Okay, I think that should be okay. Next thing you want to do is make sure that that second sentence, that's a strong start. It reflects well on the impact you're making on the role. I see you've been senior. That's a strong start. So what we will do is we're going to tell the AI to not make any assumptions about their. Okay, let's have AI figure this one out. So, chat open AI module 1 resulted in this output. The second sentence is not good in that. So how do I explain why this isn't a good start to the sentence? It's not good in that second sentence. The first sentence is great. It is great, but not the second sentence. Is strong start isn't really, I don't know. Strong start isn't really, I don't know, it's kind of broad. It is very broad and kind of made up. What can you tell me? What is wrong with that sentence? That's why we got AI. Figure these things out for us. You're right. Yes, it is too generic. Presumptive. Yes, doesn't tie back to tenure. Breaks your tone. Go. Rewrite this module. Rewrite module 2. This is the user prompt 1. Here is my new module that I crafted with necessary changes made. Be sure to include the changes that I made to it. Let's grab that. Oh, this is annoying. All right. All right. So what changes did I make? Complement their leadership commitment, impact, or the confidence the company has in them if they're in a newer role. Okay. I mean, that wasn't much of a change, but let's see what the outputs are. Job title, tenure. Save. Save. All right. Let's run it a few times. CFO. Let's go for 7 months. ABC LLC. Okay. I see you've been CFO at ABC LLC for 7 months. Stepping into such a critical role shows strong confidence the company has in your strategic and financial leadership. Right again. VP of Ops, Operations. Let's go Vice President of Operations and Finance. Let's see if I can make some changes to the job title and simplify it up a little bit. We'll go ABC then. We had 1 year, 1 month in the last one. That was messed up, so let's do that again.
I saw you've been VP of Ops and Finance at ABC LLC for over a year. That kind of steady leadership early in a role often sets the tone for long-term success. Beautiful. All right, let's run that again. We're actually going to, instead of scraping the LinkedIn again, I'm going to go ahead and just copy these and copy some of these cells, input them into the module. What did I just copy paste? Yeah. Okay. We have the company name. Where's that? I'm going to add one more rule. Simplify the company name. Let's see how this looks. We're going to go grab those again. One year, 1 month. I saw you've been Senior Director of Finance and Ops at Pantone Development for over a year. It's great to see the impact you're already making in such a pivotal role. It was a little presumptive. We'll stick with it. Copy and paste that in. Okay. Huh. In your role, so I saw you've been Senior Director of Finance and Ops at Pantone Development for just over a year. It's great to see the impact you're already making in such a pivotal role. In your role overseeing both finance and operations, you're in a key position to identify cost-saving opportunities across the company. We help reduce waste costs by negotiating hard terms and auditing invoices monthly. If we could reduce your waste costs with zero risk upfront while keeping all your operations the exact same, is that something you'd be interested in? That's what that email is going to look like. Let's go ahead and run this again. Make sure it's looking good. Go ahead and save it. Before I'm going to rename this. Rename to string 1. Rename to string 2. Rename to scrape links in. Okay, save. Should have sent there, so it's going to go on to the next row. Let's see what we got here. I saw you've been senior VP at Monomoy Properties REIT for over 4 years. That kind of consistency shows strong leadership and lasting impact within the organization. As senior VP, your strategic oversight likely includes identifying cost saving opportunities across operations. I like that. The last thing I'm going to do here is try to have the second module dumb something down like this. Dumb down these job titles. Run it once. Oh, there we go. I saw you've been the VP controller at Seafried Industrial Properties for over 8 years. That kind of lasting impact reflects strong leadership and deep expertise. As VP controller, your financial oversight plays a key role in managing expenses across the organization. We help reduce waste costs by renegotiating hauler terms and auditing invoices monthly. All right, I like it. So what I'm going to do now is edit the schedule. I'm going to have it run every single minute. Activate scenario, save. Now every single minute, one row will be searched, and then in about 35 minutes, I will then take this list, download it as a CSV, upload it into Smartlead, and use those two sentences, these two strings in my first email being sent to these people.